A Neighbor's Betrayal, the murder of Wendy Buckney. True crime often brings us stories that send shivers down our spines, stories that remind us of the chilling unpredictability of humanity itself. But this story isn't just about a crime. It's about trust, betrayal, and the harrowing reality that danger can creep up from the most familiar of places. Today, we delve into the tragic case of Wendy Buckney, a 71-year-old woman whose murder at the hands of her own neighbor turned an ordinary Swansea neighborhood into the backdrop of an unforgivable tragedy. Wendy Buckney was everything you'd want in a neighbor. At 71 years old, she embodied warmth, kindness, and an unwavering connection to the Swansea community she called home. Her day-to-day life was as peaceful as it could be, filled with meaningful contributions to the neighborhood and joyous interactions with those around her. Her neighbors described her as approachable, compassionate, and spirited. Wendy was the kind of person who brought light into every room she entered, someone you'd instinctively trust. Little did she know that the very trust she extended would one day cost her deeply. But Wendy's inspiring life came to a sudden and traumatic end, a fate no one could have foreseen and no one could justify. The monster responsible for her demise wasn't a stranger lurking in the shadows. He was someone she saw almost every day. The murder of Wendy Buckney stands as one of the most chilling betrayals in recent history. Her assailant? A man who lived just steps away from her doorstep, a neighbor she may have casually exchanged greetings with on countless occasions. The details of the crime are shocking and unsettling. Wendy was attacked and killed in an act of unthinkable brutality. This was no accident or crime of passion. As later investigations revealed, her murder bore the marks of calculation and malice. The scene was horrifying. A quiet, peaceful residence had suddenly turned into a grim tableau of violence. Bloodstains and signs of struggle painted a disturbing picture of Wendy's final moments. The question immediately arose: who could bring such darkness into the life of a woman who shone so brightly? As the Swansea community reeled from the news of Wendy's murder, the wheels of justice began to turn. Detectives worked tirelessly to uncover what had happened, and, more importantly, who was responsible. The investigation led them to Wendy's neighbor, a man who had seemingly blended into the community without raising suspicions. Evidence quickly mounted against him. Forensic teams meticulously combed through the crime scene, unearthing undeniable clues that linked him directly to the brutal attack. Fingerprints, DNA samples, and incriminating physical evidence became key to unraveling the truth. Witness testimonies further solidified the suspect's link to the crime. Slowly but surely, the pieces of this terrifying puzzle came together, leaving no room for doubt about the perpetrator's guilt. The community was stunned. How could someone so close to Wendy, someone she likely trusted, commit such a heinous act? Behind closed doors, the man harbored dark motives, filled with intent that ran counter to the peaceful environment around him. The man responsible for Wendy's death, though outwardly ordinary, hid a disturbing reality beneath his unassuming facade. Initially, many struggled to reconcile his actions with his seemingly normal demeanor. However, as details of his background and motives surfaced, the truth painted a chilling picture. Evidence revealed that this was no spur-of-the-moment act. Wendy's murder was premeditated. The assailant had calculated his moves with alarming precision. The reasons behind such violence remained speculative, but the presence of malice, resentment, or perhaps even greed cannot be ruled out. The betrayal stung not just Wendy's family, but the entire community, a brutal reminder that evil isn't always a distant threat. Sometimes it's closer than we realize. As the suspect faced trial, the courtroom became the stage for a gripping fight for justice. The prosecution painted a vivid picture of the crime, piecing together every detail from the forensic investigation and witness accounts. The evidence was irrefutable. The judge presiding over the case described the murder as one of extreme gravity, ruling that the perpetrator would spend life behind bars without the possibility of parole. It was a sentence designed to reflect the seriousness of the crime and ensure that justice was fully served. Key moments from the trial highlighted the calculated nature of the act. The judge's statement remains etched in memory. This crime is so exceptionally serious that just punishment requires you to be kept in prison for the rest of your life. Wendy's family and the community finally saw a semblance of closure. Though no verdict could ever bring Wendy back, the sentence ensured that her killer would never harm another soul again. The aftermath of Wendy's murder extended far beyond her family. The Swansea community was left grappling with profound grief and fear. How could this happen in their quiet neighborhood? Could they ever feel safe again? For Wendy's family, the loss was devastating. Statements delivered during court proceedings revealed the extent of their pain. Wendy had been the heart of her family, a role model, and an irreplaceable presence in their lives. Her brutal end left a void they could never fill. Neighbors, too, felt the impact. The tragedy forced them to re-examine their sense of safety and community. Many admitted to feeling betrayed, not only by the crime itself, but by the fact that such darkness could lurk within someone they all thought they knew. The murder was a frightening reminder that evil doesn't always wear a mask. Sometimes it hides in plain sight. Wendy Buckney's story serves as a stark warning. Danger doesn't always come from a distant stranger. Sometimes it emerges from the familiar, the trusted. Her case underscores the importance of community vigilance and awareness. While no one could have foreseen such an atrocity, this tragedy invites us all to think critically about the signs we sometimes overlook or dismiss. Subtle changes in behavior, unexplained tensions, these can be vital clues. This is not a call for paranoia, but for mindfulness. Wendy's case sheds light on the need to engage with neighbors meaningfully while remaining cautious and observant. Safety, after all, starts with awareness. Wendy's murder is not an isolated incident. Crimes targeting the elderly and other vulnerable populations have been rising in recent years. These heinous acts often leave communities shattered and survivors emotionally drained. What can society do to prevent such crimes? Wendy's story emphasizes the need for stronger neighborhood connections, better crime awareness programs, and accessible safety resources for vulnerable citizens. Authorities must also focus on early intervention, ensuring that those who exhibit troubling behaviors are appropriately monitored. Such measures can save lives by addressing potential threats before they escalate into full-blown tragedies. As we conclude this heartbreaking story, let us remember Wendy Buckney for who she was, a kind-hearted, vibrant presence who brought joy to her Swansea community. Her life was tragically cut short, but her memory can inspire us to seek change. This case may be steeped in darkness, but its resolution reaffirms the importance of justice. Wendy's legacy reminds us of the critical need to create safer, more vigilant neighborhoods where such horrors may never occur again. True crime enthusiasts, let Wendy Buckney's story be more than just a case to discuss. Let it be a driving force to advocate for crime awareness, community vigilance, and justice for all. Together, we can strive for a world that honors and protects lives like Wendy's. Let us remember Wendy Buckney and ensure her story is never forgotten. Stay vigilant, stay safe, and always hold justice as the cornerstone of our communities.